She had the voice of an angel and her smile would melt you. Growing up, she could hang and party with the best of them and could also knit an Afghan that would make a grandma proud. Linda Ronstadt was the whole package. Linda was known as one of the most powerful and versatile voices in American music history. From the folk rock sounds of the 1960s to her chart-topping pop hits of the 70s, country ballads, mariachi music, and even operatic performances, she did it all. But how did this Arizona-born singer become a trailblazing force across multiple genres? Some of it came from her upbringing on a 10-acre farm in Arizona. She said her sister and two brothers were musical, and we all sang together. I sang all the time when I was growing up. We used to sing with my father, too. He really gave me a keen appreciation for every kind of music. I was always trying to shut myself off musically, depending on what I thought was hip at the time. And he was always fighting me, always saying that there's great music in everything. He turned me on to singers like Billie Holiday, Peggy Lee, and Ella Fitzgerald. A teenager growing up in Tucson who is listening to Top 40 radio is not going to be exposed to those kind of singers or think that they are in any way hip. And they're fantastic. I really have my father to thank for a lot of that, even though at times I fought him every inch of the way. The rest of this learning experience came after she moved from Arizona to Los Angeles, California in 1964. This is when her musical career began to take shape. Let's take a look back on this journey and hear a few of Linda's stories, and we'll catch up on her health and how she's doing today. So stick around and find out. Linda Marie Ronstadt was born in Tucson, Arizona on July 15, 1946, and she was the third of 4 children. Linda started singing at a very young age and had this to say: "One of the major influences on my life was Mexican music. My father sang it, and sang it great. I grew up listening to mariachi music, which I still love, and which, believe it or not, had a strong influence on my singing style." Years later, Linda would release a mariachi album, and it would be the biggest selling non-English album in U.S. history at the time. It was to go double platinum. I think Linda fought a lot on her way up. She says she hated school. She went to a Catholic school, and not being shy of speaking her mind, she simply said it warped her. School was so structured, she said. The nuns were uptight, and I thought they were prudes. I hated them. I wanted to shock them all the time. I used to swear a lot, and I was boy crazy, and they hated that. I wanted to be sexy. I wanted to kiss boys. I wanted them to like me and to pay attention to me. I got so much disapproval from the nuns and fought it so hard. I became very rebellious. The sexy thing became my method of rebellion, and is still with me. Linda was 18 years old when she moved to Los Angeles in 1964 to sing with her friend Bob Kimmel, a singer and guitar player who also left Arizona to try to find a career in music. Soon after, they met a bass and guitar player named Kenny Edwards, who seemed to be a good fit, and the three of them formed a group they called the Stone Ponies. The Stone Ponies recorded 3 albums and a hit single, Different Drum, for Capitol Records. The song Different Drum reached number 13 on the Billboard charts. It was written by Mike Nesmith of the Monkees, but something many people don't know is Linda was the only member of the Stone Ponies on the recording. Nick Vinay, the producer for Capitol working that session, decided the sound needed was going to take some studio musicians and a bigger sound to get it done. The musicians hired on the recording included some of the better players from Capitol's stable of studio greats: Jimmy Bond on bass and arrangements, Al Viola on guitar, Jim Gordon on drums, Don Randy on harpsichord, and Sid Sharp leading the strings. Oh, and there was one more guitar player hired to play on that recording. His name was Bernie Leadon. From some accounts, this was the first time Linda and Bernie's paths would cross. But it wouldn't be the last. Bernie Leadon who had left the Flying Burrito Brothers, would end up joining Linda's band, Don Henley, Glenn Frey, and Randy Meisner. And as we all know, they were later to break out on their own and become the Eagles. She would also record Don Henley's song Desperado. Although not released as a single, Linda's version, as Don put it, was very, very good and brought the song to a wider audience. Linda always seemed to have that ability in her voice to be able to cross over songs. Now, Linda had ended her relationship with her manager-producer, John Boylan, and started a new love with singer-songwriter J.D. Souther. J.D. would write, perform on, and produce some of Linda's best songs. A few of those songs were Faithless Love, Simple Man, Simple Dream, and Prisoner in Disguise. Although their live-in relationship would break up, this would end up being a friendship lasting until J.D.'s death last year in 2024. Linda had 21 top 40 hits on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in her career. She also charted 38 singles in total on the Hot 100, with 10 of those reaching the top 10. And that would include her only number one, You're No Good. Linda could sing anything. She had a very uncanny knack of being able to pick out songs to record, even older hits, and make them hers. She recorded a great cover of the 1951 song by Hank Williams, I Can't Help It If I'm Still in Love with You. She would win a Grammy for Best Country Vocal Performance by a Female for this song. It would reach number 2 on the Billboard charts, and her good friend Emmylou Harris sang the harmony with her on the recording. When the Hall of Fame finally inducted her in 2014, she didn't attend. Glenn Frey of the Eagles accepted the award for her. I always thought it was for her health reasons she missed it, but I found a 2020 interview where Linda said, "It didn't mean a thing to me. None of that did. Ever. I never thought of the audience either. I'd like to say I did, but I didn't. When people came to the shows, I couldn't understand why they were staring at me. But they did, and I was trying to sing." As far as writing songs, Linda didn't care much for it. She said, "Why bother?" She said she knew too many people writing great songs and would rather pick from one of them. She did write on a song called Try Me Again with Andrew Gold, which came out on her 1976 album, Hasten Down the Wind. Trisha Yearwood would later record and include it on her 2000 album, Real Live Woman. She summed up her feelings about writing songs by saying this, "I'm not a writer. I'm a singer. I don't wake up in the morning and start writing a song. I wake up in the morning and eat breakfast." In the 1980s, Linda, along with Dolly Parton and Emmylou Harris, won a Grammy for Best Country Performance by a Duo or a Group with the album Trio. The threesome released 2 albums, Trio in 1987 and Trio 2 in 1999, which have combined to sell more than 5 million copies worldwide and win 3 Grammy Awards total. Linda has sold over 100 million records worldwide and setting records as one of the top grossing concert performers for over a decade. She was the most successful female singer of the 1970s and stands as one of the most successful female recording artists in U.S. history. Linda's now 78, keeps pretty much to herself, along with her family and a few close friends. She is dealing with that progressive supranuclear palsy, and this goes back a long way. She was first diagnosed with Parkinson's. She said she started noticing a change, something different in her voice, starting around age 51. So this is something she's been dealing with for over 25 years. Now last year she lost her ability to hear and speak. Her hearing, still not all that good, but her ability to speak has returned. Sadly though, she hasn't been able to sing like she used to in quite some time. Linda, a 10-time Grammy winner, said, "People sing for the same reasons birds do. For a mate, to claim their territory, are simply to give a voice to being alive in the midst of a beautiful day. They sing so that the coming generations won't forget what the current generations endured or dreamed or delighted in. Here's another video I think you might enjoy. Don't forget to smash the like button for this one too. It really helps the channel. Thanks so much for watching.